A man willingly gets stranded on a deserted island with only basic survival gear. But not only does he avoid starving, he enjoys a seafood buffet every single day. Huge sea snails, weighing several kilos, are easy to pick up. Big sea crabs, larger than a fist, serve as appetizers. Grilled fish becomes his standard dinner every night, each bite packed with solid, satisfying meat. But large wild lobsters are the real main course. Grilled or boiled, one is enough to make him full. This doesn't feel like island survival. It feels like a high-end seafood buffet. In this episode, Tommy gets stranded on a deserted island in the tropical Pacific Ocean. There are no beautiful beaches here, but the island is home to many giant lizards, so he calls it Lizard Island. The environment is very different from previous islands. He finds a suitable spot to build a shelter near the shore and notices a lizard nearby. It is not afraid of humans at all, showing how many of them live on this island. Because of the heat, shelter requirements are simple. Tommy sets up his tent in an open area. He gathers dry firewood, since fire is crucial for safety. Then he takes out a strange-looking suitcase with basic survival gear, including 2 fishing tools never seen before, packed with both useful and useless items. If used well, staying full and gaining weight is easy. He hangs a hammock under the shelter. After setting up camp, he starts exploring the island. The island is almost completely covered in bushes, creating a perfect habitat for lizards. But among all these lizards, he is only interested in seafood. He finds an abandoned iron pot and uses it to build a stone stove while collecting firewood. Lizards keep showing up. Knowing the island is uninhabited makes him more relaxed. He walks around like he's taking part in a 21-day primitive survival challenge. By the time he returns, the sun is set. Tommy grabs his spear and heads into the sea for dinner. A small fish swims by, clearly provoking him as the self-proclaimed island boss. Even a dog passing by would get smacked, let alone a soft, tasty sea fish. He attacks immediately. Small, but still a solid protein source for his bag. Seeing few resources here, he moves to the reef area. He picks up a large sea snail, very satisfied. After observing the seabed environment, the seabed here is barren, no different from the island itself. Looking into the distance, only bare rocks are visible. Coral is scarce and disappointing. Occasionally, a few lonely fish appear. It's rare to even spot a school of fish, but he can't figure out how to strike. Before long, Tommy notices a small fish hiding under a rock, peeking its head out. He thrusts his spear, but the fish escapes. This makes him realize many fish hide in rock crevices. Based on that idea, he quickly finds a new target and catches his second sea fish. Both fish weigh about half a kilo each, enough to avoid going hungry tonight. He puts them in his net and keeps searching the rocks, but the rubber spear in his hand lacks power, making it hard to hit targets. The shoreline caves are very large. Crawling inside would be dangerous, so he stays along the rocks and observes. Spotting several fish hiding in crevices, after aiming for a long time, he still misses. Even without catching more fish, he finds a very large pair of white clams. Unfortunately, there's no meat inside. Back on shore, Tommy reviews today's hunt and believes the main reason is weak weapons, causing him to miss or hit without killing, and the fish still escape. But this becomes an unexpected reward of the day. A sea snail this big should have plenty of meat. After cleaning the fish, he prepares dinner on a deserted island. As long as it doesn't rain, dry wood is easy to find. This time, he didn't bring a fire starter. Instead, he decides to drill wood to make fire, spinning the stick rapidly with both hands. Thick smoke starts to rise, but the fire still won't catch. The bottom of the wooden spindle turns black, showing he is very close to success. However, hand drilling is exhausting, so Tommy lightly strikes it with a piece of metal, and the ember ignites. This survival method is truly unexpected, because with fire, you basically have everything. He builds a large fire as usual. While diving earlier, he saw dark clouds in the distance, so heavy rain is likely coming. He quickly gathers a lot of dry firewood back to camp. Making charcoal requires a large amount of wood, and wood is plentiful on this island, so he uses it freely. Tommy chops a few branches, skewers the sea fish by the shore, and decides to grill fish tonight. While waiting for the fish to cook, he sharpens his fishing spear to improve the success rate, making future hunts more effective. Once the sharpening is done, the fish is perfectly cooked. Fresh fish sizzles over glowing coals under high heat. The seafood flavor is slowly released. You can almost smell it through the screen. Tommy can't wait and starts eating right away. The fish is firm, savory, and slightly salty, like fried fish. He finishes one whole fish in one go. After eating, he sits by the shore, watching the sunset. Then he digs another fire pit in the sand, gathering dry palm leaves for night seafood hunting. When it gets completely dark, he takes the remaining grilled fish, eating while waiting for night to fall. 4 grilled fish are enough to fill him up. After night falls, Tommy grabs his spear and continues exploring the island. He finds 2 large crabs. These land crabs taste just as good as sea crabs. He puts them into his bag and keeps searching. Soon, he catches another large crab. But while moving, the net bag presses too close to his body. A crab suddenly pinches his armpit, causing sharp pain. Even so, today's harvest is good, so the pain doesn't matter much. The first day of island survival passes like this. Tommy spends the whole night catching crabs. On day 2, after waking up, he plans to watch the sunrise, but the sun doesn't appear. Instead, he notices many hunting tracks in front of the shelter. He realizes the shelter entrance is too low, forcing him to bend every time he enters. Over time, this can cause neck strain, but raising the entrance could cause water buildup during rain, so he decides to make a chair inside the shelter. While exploring along the shore, Tommy finds many shells on the beach, beautiful and clean. Perfect for collecting. Soon, he finds an even larger seashell. He wonders if anyone knows what species this is, because the shell is incredibly beautiful. Tommy is as happy as if he found a treasure. There are also some objects that look like coral and a type of purple leaf that he isn't sure what it is. Today's harvest is not small at all. Even though it's not food, for someone who loves shells, it's still a big surprise. After finishing his exploration, Tommy grabs his fishing spear, heads into the sea, and casually picks up 2 sea snails. Snail meat is firm and chewy and smells great when grilled. He stands near the coastal reef with his spear, waiting for an opportunity. Fish farther away are hard to catch. Fish that come close may get hit, but the rubber-powered spear isn't strong enough, so fish often escape, just like the last fish that slipped away and rolled into a rock crevice, leaving him both frustrated and regretful. The shoreline rock zone is extremely complex, making risky fishing difficult and dangerous. Tommy can only walk along the shore, exploring rock outcrops. Besides sharp rock walls, fish are rarely seen here, and when they do appear, they quickly swim away. Here, he discovers a patch of seaweed. Very similar to the purple leaves found on the beach earlier today. Even without catching fish, Tommy still picked up a bottle completely fused and embedded into the rock. Judging by its shape, this bottle is far from ordinary, so he decides to bring it back. The bottle truly brings Tommy good luck, as he quickly catches a fish soon after. Fish in this area also start appearing more frequently. Whenever he sees a fish, Tommy strikes immediately, but many still struggle free. Fish that escape, if they fail to reach the reef, rarely survive for long. The fish in his hand slowly weakens, and Tommy puts it into the net. More and more fish gather around the reef, raising his success rate. Every fish he catches is cleaned right in seawater. Today's harvest is truly impressive. Without realizing it, Tommy's net bag is full of fish. Inside the coral reef, he also finds another bottle and believes it is very valuable because it is fused into the rock, meaning it has existed for at least hundreds of years. Only by finding markings on it can he know what kind of bottle it is. Besides the bottle, Tommy also harvests plenty of seafood today, including a red parrotfish, a species that can grow very large, and a bluefish, or flying fish, with incredible swimming speed and meat as good as tuna, even suitable for sashimi. Today truly fulfills the dream of a seafood feast. Last night, he also caught 2 large crabs he hasn't eaten yet. Combined with today's fish and several sea snails, Tommy will be more than full. Among all this seafood, the glass bottle excites him the most. He firmly believes it is very old glass. Although it is indeed aged, without a date or label, it's no different from a bottle made last week. Still, Tommy treats it like a treasure, saving it for water storage. As the tide begins to rise, he prepares dinner right on the shore. 4 seafood items, each around half a kilo, from 4 different species. 4 distinct flavors. Just looking at them makes you hungry. Tommy builds a large fire that burns fiercely. Just watching the flames is enough to imagine how good the grilled fish will be. He places the iron pot into the fire to boil water, then takes out the 2 crabs caught last night, each weighing nearly half a kilo, about half the size of a king crab. Crabs this large are very easy to prepare. Tommy puts the cleaned crab straight into the pot to boil. Boiling crab with seawater will definitely make it very flavorful. While waiting for the crab to cook, Tommy carves a few wooden sticks to use as fish skewers. He places them over the fire to lightly roast them. This helps release more of the wood aroma. He also finds a taro root and drops it straight into the pot to boil. It's hard to imagine how good this seafood broth would be if it were used to cook noodles. Once the wooden sticks are nicely roasted, he uses them to skewer sea fish. On a deserted island, almost every meal is grilled. That's why Tommy's fish skewering skills keep improving. Every fish is neatly skewered. Tonight's dinner is 4 grilled fish, along with a pot of crab and taro. He arranges the seafood evenly around the fire. This grilling method is similar to desert-style roasting. He keeps turning the fish to prevent it from burning. Meanwhile, the iron pot is boiling hard. Tommy flips the crabs to make sure they cook evenly. After about 20 minutes, the crabs are fully cooked. He pulls one out, bigger than his fist. The crabs and snails are ready, but the fish still needs more time. When it's time to eat, Tommy starts with a sea snail the size of his hand. It looks big, but there isn't much meat. The good thing is, the meat is crunchy and tasty. There's a lot of paste inside the shell, but it's too hard to crack open. After the appetizer, he moves on to 2 large crabs. The crab meat isn't much, but it's soft and sweet. He rates it 7 out of 10. The crab legs, however, are packed with meat. He just can't stop eating them. While eating the crab, the grilled fish is finally done. If he doesn't take it off now, it will burn, so he removes all of it. The fish doesn't taste as good as the crab. Only after finishing the crab does he start eating the grilled fish. Even though the skin is slightly burned, the meat inside is completely fine. After eating 2 fish and 1 crab, Tommy is completely full. He saves the rest for a late-night meal. He never expected that just after being stranded on a deserted island, he could enjoy unlimited seafood in only 2 days. After breaking open the snail shell, he finds a strange green mass near the tail. After tasting it, he realizes the truth and almost throws up his dinner. Tommy starts another fire near the shore. Tonight, he plans to continue harvesting seafood. The fire is built the same way as yesterday. He brings the remaining grilled fish and crabs down to the beach. He eats while watching the sunset. Eating by the sea is probably his favorite moment of the day. As night falls, he starts exploring the island. A strange black object catches his attention. At first, he thinks it's a coconut shell. Tommy uses his spear to search the rocks for seafood. There are many sea snails of this type there. They're not big, but in large numbers, they're enough to survive. Before long, he gathers several kilos of large snails. A perfect day passes while harvesting seafood. Early in the morning of day 3, Tommy comes up with a very bold fishing plan. He wants to fish from the edge of the reef and try to catch a shark to eat. Surviving on a deserted island, this is the first time I've ever seen someone eat shark. In the waters around the island, the most common sharks are great white sharks and tiger sharks. Tommy heads to a rocky reef that stretches out into the sea. The water there is deep, one and many sharks come to feed. After casting his line several times with no bites, he thinks the waves might be too strong and keeps trying. Still, there's no catch. He switches to a brighter, more colorful lure, but even then, nothing bites. Tommy decides to explore the island instead. This place is rich in resources. Just collecting shellfish would be enough to survive for a long time. He finds a spider crab that has just molted on the rocky reef. This type of crab usually feeds around the reef. Dark clouds begin to gather in the distance. A heavy rainstorm is about to arrive. Fishing today no longer seems possible. Tommy puts on his backpack and moves across the rocky terrain. One careless step could mean falling into a rock hole and injuring his foot. When he reaches the camp, the rain pours down on the deserted island. Fresh water is the rarest resource here, so he takes advantage of the heavy rain. He quickly uses every container he has to collect rainwater. The strange suitcase he brought with him turns out to be a very good water container. After the rain, the shelter collects a large amount of water. He pours all the rainwater from the shelter into the suitcase for storage. There's also a lot of rainwater on the roof of the shelter. Tommy uses bottles to collect it. Even though a lot of water is wasted, the amount collected is still enough to survive one full day. The rainwater is then filtered and poured into plastic bottles. In island survival, rain is actually what he likes the most. Even though the rain is very cold, the benefits are more than just drinking water. The island where Tommy stays is a tropical island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, with a hot and humid climate. It easily makes people feel uncomfortable. After diving every day, coming back to shore feels unpleasant. Salt from the seawater blocks the pores, making it hard for the body to release heat. Rain helps the body feel more comfortable. He also takes a shower in the rain. This heavy rain allows Tommy to store a lot of water, enough to drink for 3 to 4 days. At this point, fire and water are no longer a problem. Food is the only thing missing, so he goes diving again. After the rain, the seawater becomes cloudy. Sand and buried sea creatures are stirred up. This increases the chance of catching fish and shrimp. Under the reefs, lobsters and crabs are common, so Tommy keeps searching for a target and catches a fish hiding under the rocks for dinner. This is the biggest fish he has caught since surviving on the deserted island. Not long after, he finds another sea snail, but after eating snails for 2 days straight, he casually throws it away and keeps exploring. Under the reef, a long antenna catches Tommy's attention. A large lobster is hiding beneath the rock. When a lobster comes right to your doorstep, how could you ignore it? Tommy immediately strikes with his spear under the rock and successfully catches it. This is his first time ever catching a lobster, which makes Tommy extremely excited. After eating grilled fish for many days, today he finally gets to enjoy a lobster feast, a truly satisfying meal. This lobster is huge, weighing several kilos, enough for one full meal. He holds the lobster up to show it to the camera. Fish and sea snails are now just appetizers to him. Only lobster deserves to be called the main dish. After the island feast, Tommy continues diving to explore the sea. A large fish appears ahead, but unfortunately, the spear cannot reach it. Suddenly, he finds a massive sea snail shell, but it is already dead, leaving only an empty shell. It is hard to imagine how much meat it had when it was alive. Today's harvest is solid, with a large lobster weighing several kilos and a big sea fish. This lobster is even bigger than Tommy's head. Including the long antennae, it is about 50 centimeters long. A lobster this size is enough to make anyone full. I already thought catching a lobster this big was surprising, but I did not expect Tommy to pull out a metal trap as well. Something he brought with him to explore the island, which actually makes a lot of sense. Since this is an exploration trip, bringing a metal detector makes sense. He walks around the deserted island holding the metal detector. Ever since he picked up that old glass bottle, I started to feel that something about Tommy was not normal. No wonder he ends up stuck on deserted islands every now and then. And every survival trip, he always finds valuable items. Today he finds another small metal cap. After finishing the island exploration, it is time to prepare a seafood dinner. This is a rock lobster. Its color patterns are not as pretty as a spiny lobster, but the taste and texture are almost the same. On a deserted island, having lobster to eat is already amazing, no matter what kind it is. After eating, no one would even know. As evening comes, Tommy lights another fire on the beach. He is used to having dinner while watching the sunset. Today, he boils the lobster using seawater. Cooking seafood with seawater really brings out the freshness. When the water boils, he puts the lobster into an iron pot. The lobster is so big that even in the pot, half of its head is still sticking out. While waiting for the lobster to cook, Tommy prepares the sea fish he caught today. He cuts slits into the fish so it will cook faster on the fire. After finishing the prep, he throws the fish straight into the fire to grill. With premium ingredients, the cooking method should stay simple. Premium ingredients often only need rough and simple cooking. The fish skin quickly gets charred on the outside. Then Tommy skewers the fish to grill it. I'm just like street barbecue stalls, fast and efficient without fancy steps. The boiled lobster has not even fully turned red yet, but he is already too eager to taste the meat. He puts the lobster head back into the iron pot to keep boiling, but the fire today does not seem strong enough. Such valuable ingredients almost look wasted, the way he handles them. After about half an hour of boiling and grilling, the lobster and fish are basically cooked. Tommy holds the lobster, weighing several kilos. The shell is still not fully red. It looks slightly undercooked, but he has been hungry all day, so he cannot wait any longer. He peels off the lobster tail, sucks a mouthful of the sweet juice inside, then separates the head, splashing liquid everywhere. He tears off the claws and sucks the head with his mouth. Almost no meat is left. Not a single drop is wasted. Even the meat inside the antennae. Tommy's hunger is very clear. Next comes the lobster tail. He uses pliers to cut through the hard shell, revealing thick meat. He keeps reacting in delight because it tastes so good. This huge lobster is truly tempting, making the meal extremely satisfying. Only 3 days on the island, Was and Tommy has already eaten plenty of fish and shrimp, crabs, and sea snails as well. After finishing the lobster, he continues eating the grilled fish with crispy, charred skin, while the inside meat stays thick and tender. A perfect day ends with a full dinner. On the morning of the 4th day, Tommy continues exploring the island but finds nothing, so he grabs his spear and heads back into the sea. Inside the rock crevices, he spots 3 large fish, but touching one causes the other 2 to flee. He targets the biggest one, but still loses it. This makes him realize that spearfishing is extremely difficult. He sharpens the spear tip on a rock and keeps searching the crevices, because yesterday he caught a large lobster in one of them. The crevices are very narrow, and he quickly spots another large lobster, but it hides too deep, so he only manages to pull out one antenna. This reef area has many large lobsters, but they hide deep under the rocks, so catching them by hand is very hard. Tommy has no choice but to use cage traps. After returning to shore, at Mud he collects rainwater from the shelter roof. On a deserted island, every drop of fresh water is precious. Without food, he could last about 10 days. But without fresh water, he could survive only 2 days at most. There is still 1 grilled fish left from last night, so he decides to use that fish as bait. He cuts the grilled fish and skewers it on sticks to attract sea creatures. It sounds strange, but Tommy still does it. No bait, no catch. After setting the traps, he carries the fish basket to find a good spot. He places an orange buoy under the net, so when the trap is triggered, the buoy will float to the surface. 2 traps are placed between the rocks, where the chance of catching lobster is the highest. While waiting, he continues hunting around the area. There are many small fish hiding in the crevices. But the traps only attract tiny ones, nibbling the bait bit by bit. No big fish appear, let alone lobsters. While waiting with nothing to do, he notices many sea snails on the seabed, but they are all small, so he does not want to eat them. Back on shore, he sees a monitor lizard wandering near the fire. It seems to be trying to steal the grilled fish. During the day, the island is extremely hot, so he drinks even more fresh water than at home. Luckily, he has collected a good amount of rainwater in his case. 1 rainfall a day is enough for 2 days of drinking water. There are no coconuts on the island, so he cannot get natural carbohydrates. He has no choice but to take out a bag of flour he brought with him. Because he often gets stranded on deserted islands, bringing flour is actually very reasonable. He kneads the dough into flatbread and grills it over the fire. The sun is about to set, and dinner is still not guaranteed, so Tommy takes his fishing rod to the shore. After just a few casts, a fish bites. He quickly pulls up a sea fish, much larger than the ones from previous days, weighing about 5 to 6 kilos, enough for a full meal. If anyone knows what kind of fish this is, leave a comment. The pink artificial lure works very well. Even though he tries a few more times, he does not catch another one. When the sun fully sets, it is time to prepare dinner. Today's harvest is good, so hunger is not a worry. This fish has long fins and looks similar to a Nagasaki tuna. After bringing the fish back to camp and staying busy all day, Tommy is extremely hungry and thirsty. But every evening, he keeps the habit of watching the sunset. No matter how hungry he is, he must finish watching the sunset first, a romantic habit that is almost annoying. After preparing the fish, he rearranges the fire. The grilled dough is still on the stove, and he still does not want to eat it yet. Before grilling fish, he always needs to prepare hot coals. So while waiting, he catches a few more crabs. Now dinner is complete. Not long after, the crabs are cooked. Crab meat is not much, but eating crab is a joy. Each small strand of meat, with its salty, sweet taste, feels like a reward from the island. The meat inside the claws is very full and also the best part. After finishing the crab appetizer, Tommy starts grilling the fish. Grilling fish takes the most time. Too much fire burns the meat, but low fire will not cook it through. After waiting a long time, he finally gets to enjoy the main dish. Tommy grabs the grilled fish and eats it in big, hungry bites. The fish is freshly cooked and still a bit hot on his mouth, but the crispy, charred skin smells incredibly good. Every bite fills him with deep satisfaction. And this is where the video comes to an end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos surviving on a deserted island.